Hey, Frugal Friends! Welcome back to another episode of Frugal in the City. I'm T. Washington, content creator of Frugal in the City YouTube and blog, and today I'm here to share with you how I dipped into my savings and how you can learn from this huge mistake. So, if you've been dipping into your savings and you want to know how to not do it again, how to prevent yourself from dipping back into your savings, please stay tuned. This is a must watch. All right, bye. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning back into this channel, okay, to this episode. So I know you're like, Taretha T, what happened? How did you do this? Oh my gosh, I have been beating myself up. I'm like, and I'm just now getting out of the slump of like paying myself back from the money that I took out of my savings. And let me just say that it was no emergency. It was no emergency, no reason why I should have spent my savings, but this happens to a lot of us. So I just wanted to let you guys know how I did it and how I plan to prevent myself from going back into going back into my savings and how you can learn from my mistake. Okay, so I have written my notes right here. So I'm going to be reading off my notes of what I did wrong and what I plan to do differently, and what you can too if you have dipped into your savings. It's okay. We learn from our mistakes, right? Things happen, and it's all a trial and error. This is something new for us, especially for me. For me, like trying to get out of debt and doing things the right way. So I just want to encourage you. I have some how-tos and what you should do, okay? If you have dipped into your savings like I did, I was like, gosh. Okay, so what I did, the first mistake was I did not have multiple accounts. I only have one account, and it's a checking account. And I put, I save my money and then I deposit it, and I have some like monthly recurring payments that comes out of that checking account. And so that was one mistake, was to have my savings intermingled with my spending. Like, you should have two accounts, two separate accounts, but I only had one. So it was easy for me to just access what I had in my savings. So that was mistake number one. Mistake number two is spending over my budget. Okay, so I budget a certain amount of money, like to pay for our grocery bills, to pay for our entertainment, but somehow in the mix, okay, there were some things like I'll be at the grocery store and I budgeted to spend a certain amount, but at the register, when the total comes out, it might have been like a little over like $5 or $10 or $15. And I'm like, we really need these things. So I'm just gonna take $15 from the savings, take $5 from the savings, take $10 from the savings. And that adds up, right? Or when we were like out with, entertainment, we need a little parking here. So I'm not going to take it from the cash because that's what we're using to spend. Let me just take it out the savings. Let me just take it out the savings. So like, just imagine me doing that over and over again, from over weeks of time. You know, you go back into your account, you're like, what happened to my money? And that's what I did. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that was another spending over budget. And three, the lack of discipline. I did not stick with my budget 100%. You know, I had the envelope system. I don't know if you guys know about the envelope method, but when you're using the envelope method, you divvy out how much you're going to spend in different areas, and once all of that money is gone in that envelope, you can't spend anymore. And I was not sticking to it. I was like, ugh. At first, I just, I was spending from each envelope so wrong. It was like, this is for groceries and this is for entertainment. And then, the grocery budget will go over, I was spending more on grocery. So I go into the spending, the money for entertainment, and I'm like, oh, I can just use that for that. So I was really messing up in those areas. So that really messed me up with sticking to what I said I was going to spend on what. And so it was having me to spend out of like each section that I had in my envelopes. And then when that money was gone, I, went over and touched a little bit of the savings. And I think over the time, it was Christmas time too. It was totally out of the budget, and my cousin, not my cousin, but my sister was like, we should exchange gifts and stuff. And then, so that was totally out of the budget. So I went into the savings. What I was supposed to save, I took that money and used it and to exchange gifts. So like, that really jacked me up, you guys. Like, it pushed me back. And I would say from last month to this month, I have been very, 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 very disciplined and not going out as much, not spending as much, and sticking really close to the budget, not going into my savings to spend things. So I want to give you guys the how-tos, how you can prevent yourself from dipping into your savings. So number one is to, I'm sorry, hold on one second. Yeah, so like these mistakes has happened in the last 4 months of me saying, I want to get out of debt. Now, understand, if this is the first time you choosing to do so, choosing to get out of debt, it's going to be a lot of trial and error. You learning how to manage your money, you learning what not to do, what to do, and what you should do, So don't be hard on yourself. Pick yourself back up and try again. Pick yourself back up and try again. Just stay the course, okay? And then after a while, you'll have your rhythm. So step number one is to have multiple checking and savings accounts. So like I said, I only have one account, right? So if you have multiple checkings and savings account, it's going to help you tremendously, because you can have a checking account for that's deposited from your check, only for bills, and then a checking account for spending, and then a checking account for whatever you want to name it. And the same thing for savings for your short-term goals, savings for your long-term goal, saving for a trip. So you can have multiple savings accounts. So if you have savings and checking account, right now there's a lot of promotions of signing up for bank accounts, checking accounts. Of course, they have contingencies on it. Um, like they'll give you $200 for checking, and a direct deposit, or like for a savings starting with a certain amount of money. But what I would advise you to do when you're looking for these is to get a bank account, a checking account that has um, no fees, okay, that you have to, no maintenance fees. So that's money that you're saving, money that you're putting into an account and you having to pay. No, this is your money. You should not have to pay anyone to keep an account open. And a high yielding a savings account. This is an account that actually um, uh, have interest on amount that will collect interest on the amount that you save within a year. So say for instance you save 20,000 in a year. If you're getting a high yield saving account that will give you like 8% of that cash added at the end, that's a good amount of money, right? So get a savings account that has a high yield, and a checking and savings that don't have any monthly fees. So that's number one. Number two is be realistic. Be realistic about your budget. And that's what I had to learn as well, because I was like, only this little amount I can have to play and spend and use to take care of me and take care of my daughter. But it wasn't really realistic, even though I stuck to it for a certain amount of a short amount of time. But over time, I started to, start touching and trying to spend, more, and I had went into my savings. So like be realistic, because if you don't be realistic about your budget for groceries or your budget for entertainment, you're going to always overspend. You're not going to stick to it. You're going to always overspend because, you still want to enjoy life. You can be frugal, but, like for me, I really enjoy entertainment. I really enjoy being around and about our city. So, that comes a cost. And I have to be a realistic about, like, if there's going to be parking situations, if there's going to be yeah, parking usually be this is the highest thing, or the situation I have to deal with mostly, or if we're gonna eat out, where we're gonna eat out, if there's bringing food, can we warm up things, or can we bring food to wherever we're gonna have entertainment. So just be realistic about your budget, and what you do plan on spending. Don't be so strict, because the thing is, you're gonna just go on over that budget and you're gonna find yourself always going over budget. And number three, have discipline. I did not have discipline. Like honoring my word, honoring what I planned out to do, honoring the things that I wrote down and said, this is what this is for, this is what this is for, and sticking to it no matter what. Like if I was at the grocery store and I went over $10, what in that grocery bag can I take out and say, we can do it in a different way. I can make a different meal. We don't need this extra bag of chips. Like what would I have to assess so that I'm not going over $10? Sticking to it, um, sticking to the budget. Like I know that I can do better when I go grocery shopping. Like some people, you have your list, and some people actually go and do research like this is where the deals are at, or this is, such and such a day, and this deal is for this, and this coupon is for that. I'm not that type of person. I can try to become that type of person if I need to be, but just to be smart about the meals that I'm going to create and make, that they are, you know, uh, not that expensive to make, that I can make like a good meal that's between the $10, $0 to $10, or a good meal that's up to $15, but was stretched throughout the week. So just being smart so that I'm not going over the budget, or if I am, what can I do to stay disciplined with it, because it's a lot of work, because upfront work, the planning, um, creating, being resourceful, being diligent about it. So I had to be disciplined. So I encourage you to be disciplined, because it is the key of becoming debt free. A lot of people can go say, I want to be debt free, but they're not sticking to the plans that they have created. They're not sticking to any of the things, and they're becoming overwhelmed, and they may have made a mistake, but they make it a stumbling block that they feel like they can't do it. But you can do it. You're going to have the trip ups, you're going to have the hiccups, right? But if you are blessed to have another day, you have another day to make it right, right? So just be disciplined. And that's the third thing. You have to stick to your plan if you want to reach your goals. Believe what you say and do what you say do. I think that's like the bread and butter of anyone who gains success in life in any area, is that they're disciplined enough to do exactly what they said and planned out to do. No matter the cost, no matter what situation comes about, they are laser focused, and they're in it to win it. So those are my tips for you guys. Please leave a comment below if this resonated with you, if this encouraged you, if you have been saving but you've been dipping into that. Like, what are some ways that you have helped yourself to prevent you from dipping into your savings? I will really love to know. And yeah, it's good to be back. I'm so excited about um, this journey that I'm going on, and I'm excited about you being on that journey as well. Let's encourage each other and keep each other accountable. All right, until next time, be frugal on purpose. Bye.